So I wanted to just bring up the fade out, and this is something I explain to my clients. It's good to tell them. So you mentioned that the fade out is usually on the ends first, and that does have something to do with the condition of the ends, because the ends are always going to be a bit more porous, bless you. The cuticle is going to be a bit more open, so it is normal for these colours to fade more on the ends. It's also normal for when these colours fade, for the top layer to fade faster because it's exposed to all the elements and the sun. So what will happen is that top layer and around the front of the face, that's going to fade more. If your client ties their hair up all the time, I had this client, I should have took a photo. She came in and she'd only seen me, like they were quite regular every 6 weeks, and she's a schoolgirl. She wears her hair up like this and she wears a scrunchie all the time. So the way that her colour faded was here and here, and she had this one band here that was still a bright purple. So when she wore her hair down, she had a patch, and she said to me, "Oh, I just don't understand why it's faded." And I'm like, "I understand why it's faded." And I tied it up and showed her, and she was like just gobsmacked. She just couldn't believe. But yeah, that's how they fade. So it's normal for colour under here to be bright.
Wear a hat.
Yes, yep, that's included in that how to look after your hair. I tell them all these things, tell them, because otherwise, like, it's not your fault that this happens. Of course, it's not your fault, but if you don't tell them, it's a little bit your fault. So a colour like this here, which is a takeoff of the halo prism, but it's more of a hidden colour, they last so much longer because her hair's blonde on top, and that blonde is like protecting those, so they last for ages a lot of the time. Right. So let's move on to actually applying the colour. So I want to just show you my pinwheel technique on the underneath. Usually I'll do this on a whole head. I usually wouldn't combine these two techniques together because it's just like a lot going on. Most of the time when I do a halo prism, which is this rainbow, I'll just do the halo prism on top, and then I might just do just something simple underneath because it's like a lot. But for the purposes of showing you how to do two different techniques, I'm going to do two. So usually a pinwheel, the thing I love about this is it's just so easy and you don't get lost, because sometimes you get lost with where to put things. And if you're just doing like a 2 or 3 colour melt, or you could do a whole rainbow, like that was a pinwheel. That was a pinwheel. It's just, it takes the thinking out of it. It's so much quicker, and I can just put stuff wherever. So I'll start by just sectioning the hair in 2 halves. I don't like to go through and pre-section everything, just not my thing. I like to just kind of let the magic happen. And I'm not about symmetry. I don't really like things that are symmetry. Some people do, but I just don't. And I find like I get to create when I do this. I choose how big I want the section. Like if I want a section, a bigger pink section and a smaller yellow section, or a bigger blue section and a smaller green section, I can choose. It's completely up to you. There's no rule that you have to do this or you have to do that. It's art. It's like completely open-ended. There's no wrong answers. So pinwheel, you could start at the very top of the head and have a pinwheel, but then you are going to see that. So usually I'll start my pin just at the back underneath the crown, and it'll be like a longer kind of sections. You'll see it come together. I should definitely put on some gloves. I don't know that this is going to be the most perfect section. It is good to ask before you start anything your client, get an idea of how they wear their hair. Like I said, usually I do these on a balayage, so it's not going to matter how I put, like on a balayage, you're not going to see these stripes, but because she's bleached from scalp, it is going to come out a bit stripy. So I might just ask her before I start, like, and I'll think about what colours I'm putting around here, because that's going to be really obvious. And I might be like, oh, you know, what colours do you want to see around your face? Or if she doesn't want to see like stripes from her face, a lot of the time what I'll do is I won't touch her anymore. I might just take a section around the hairline like this, and I might just leave that whole section around the hairline out, and then do my rainbows from here. And I might just leave that blonde or leave that one colour, so that when she ties her hair back, it's just one colour and she doesn't feel like a crazy rainbow. You know what I mean? So it's important to just think about that and think about what colour you're going to see through the part and around the hairline. Plan that, and then the rest, you can go crazy. And these sections, it's completely up to you as well. Like you can take them wide, you can take them thin. It just depends on how you want it to look. This is about average though. This is generally about as wide as I would take. I'm going to start with orange. So I'll pull the section out and I'll paint the perimeter first. So I want to go here. Out. It's like outline. Do your outline first. All right, and pull it this way. Split it down there, get all the insides. Yep. What you see is what you get. You can see if you've missed a bit. It's a bit hard. I don't want to turn my back to you. So once I've established the roots, I'll usually take my hand underneath and use this like a backboard so that I can really thoroughly saturate. So get in there and smush. I can't, like where a lot of people go wrong is they'll put it on here and then they'll do this. And remember what we said about the direct dye? So if I do this, I'm moving around the conditioner that direct dye is in. That dye has already grabbed onto that hair there, and what I'm doing now is just pulling down the conditioner. So, yeah, you know, it's not ideal. What I need to do is grab more product fresh and go over it, not just pull it down like all the way to the end. Keep dipping it in, keep going back for more product. Open it, and I'm opening it up as I go. I'm opening that hair up. But ultimately, if there's something you've missed, you're going to know about it like now. So open it up, open it up. All right, now that's thoroughly saturated. Now I'm opening it all up and I'm kind of just checking with my hands. I don't know if you can see this, but there's like a lot of like product on there that's just not needed. So I might just pull that off. All right, that's not orange anymore because the colour pigment's just gone into the hair, which is good. Get rid of that because that's useless.
Do you always add conditioner?
Pretty much always.
Yes, you don't use it.
Always. Even like if I'm not wanting to change the colour, I just like the consistency. So I'll just put a lot less. If it's not for changing the colour, I'll put less, just, you know, a couple of squirts for consistency. So before I move on, I'm going to look at this now. And what I see is what I'm going to get. If I can see that I've missed bits, I'm not going to walk away and come back and it's going to have magically processed. It doesn't process. So if there's something that's going wrong, it's apparent now. So I'm checking it. It's looking pretty good. I'm checking it and I'm just pulling that excess off. I hate big slimy. Ugh. Just keep it clean. Look, I'm just going to go over it again. I can't see anything, but like let's just double tap it. And with the pinwheel, I like to just put a little bit of a twist in it there, and it just sits nicer for me and it just keeps it straight. I'm following the pattern of the colour wheel with this. I'm going to work my way around the rainbow. If you want it to like flow, that's the best thing. Wiping your hands every section, have a towel, it's messy. Alright, and I'll take this one here.
Whereabouts do you get your mannequin heads from?
This was an Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was about $85, $95. They're not cheap. I've looked at ones from here, but it was like $200. I was like, oh, because it's just a training head, you know. And now I'm going to start itching.
Is it real hair?
Yes, yeah, it does need to be real hair. Yeah.
So for me, they were supposed to be real hair, and I used it for awesome hair.
So again, paint that perimeter first.
How much was it? Because they charge you for real hair? I think it was about $60 or $70.
That's cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can get it for under $100, I think that's a pretty good price.
Yeah.
Usually I can get them from Hair Mart, but I think with just such a shortage at the moment.
Yeah.
It is easier to saturate if you do take smaller sections. You'll probably spend less time trying to really work it in. So like this one, I've just taken it in two and then I'll just join it together. Right. So I am just separating. I'm not trying to rub this colour in. What I'm trying to do is just open up the hair, separate, and I'm like checking if I've missed anything, and I have. And I can see that. And that's the advantage of just kind of taking off that excess, because sometimes you think it's on, but there's so much product on there that you can't really tell. So you don't have to scrape like all of it off thoroughly, but just enough so that you can really see. And yeah, I can see that there's, yes, I was thinking, should I? Yeah, come. Have a look.
Oh yeah.
So
it's a lot lighter, isn't it?
Yeah, there's just I want to tip her head like, yeah. Yeah, so if you look here, there's unevenness. It's like really vivid at the top because that's where I put most of the product.
Yeah, so it like goes into like a baby pink.
Yeah. See that bit there? Look, that bit's not covered.
Oh yeah.
So there's nothing like, that's not going to go away. It's not going to fix itself. I am the peroxide. I am the activator here. I am the activator. So I need to go back in, remove excess product if I need to, and then go back in and saturate that again and again, 3 times, 4 times, however many times. But that's where a lot of people go wrong. You'll see that it's bright at the front and then it runs out on the ends, usually because they've gone, thorough, and then use their hands to, as we are taught with normal colour, that is how we're taught. But this is just a bit different. Yeah, look at that. What a difference. So that's the double application thing.
Yeah.
And now I'm just using my hands to really, like, you might get a few pieces. It's pretty common that you're going to probably miss something, but, as long as you get most of it. Yeah, cool. All right. I'm going to do that. You guys can, it's good to see. It's good to get up and have a look.